Hello. Today I would like to talk about vinegar extraction, the vinegar tincture. As we can produce natural remedies, drops out of alcohol, we can use as well vinegar. Probably it's not so easy to find alcohol, but vinegar, maybe it's much better in your reach. So therefore, the principle is the same. You use the dry herb, you take the same volume proportion. Half of the jar is the dry herb, nicely clean, powderized, and you double the volume, so you fill up the jar with vinegar, just a simple ordinary vinegar. We shake it for 2 weeks, maybe 3, not more than that. And then you filter it, you sieve it, and you filter it nicely, and then you have your vinegar tincture. Vinegar tincture, vinegar extraction, remedies made by vinegar, they're less potent, less strong. Therefore, remember, would you normally use 5 drops in a 1 to 3 tincture in alcohol, you probably need 10 to 15 drops in a vinegar tincture, a little bit more drops. You put them in a glass of water and you drink it with the water. Now, not in all conditions and patients we can use vinegar for a long time. Let's say there is a patient with cancer. You should not give more acid to the body because the body is already too sour, too acid. Or in cases of rheumatism, rheumatoid arthritis and so on, you should not give something which makes the climate in the tissue more acid because inflammation, they get more and more. So in some cases, you cannot use it. But in other cases, it's easy. Let's say children, a feverish child, you can use perfectly this tincture with vinegar. So it's easy to produce. You can keep it at least for 1 year. And you use it all over where you cannot use alcoholic tinctures. So it's a good complementary natural remedy to the alcoholic tinctures. And if you never have done a tincture, why not starting with a vinegar tincture? You prepare it, then you make your own experiment. You use it, a self-experiment, and you make some notes. What is the reaction of it? Enjoy and don't hesitate. If you have questions, contact us. Let's look to honey. Honey is a gift from God. Honey is a gift from nature. The bees, they are working hard to give us this honey. It's so beautiful. It's not only beautiful just on your bread for breakfast. No, it is a wonderful natural remedy. Already honey itself, a pure honey, is a medicine. And let's talk about how to take honey with herbs as a medicine. And by example, let's take Artemisia afra, the powder of Artemisia afra. If we have to give to a child or to a person who doesn't like bitter stuff, this Artemisia anima powder, let's say for parasites or for a flu, influenza, the person cannot drink the bitter Artemisia tea. So we take the dry powder and I mix it with honey. I can even prepare, let's say, for a tin like this, 3 tablespoons of dried Artemisia afra, lengana powder. I mix it really in it, maybe for 10 minutes. You mix it until you have this mixture of dry powder with honey. And then each day, for 3 times, you give a teaspoon of honey with Artemisia powder. You have a good dosage like this, and it will be helpful for boosting the immune system. It is helpful for parasites, and it helps that the child can take it, because probably the teeth won't take it. You can do like this with other herbs. Let's say rosemary. If you need to elevate blood pressure, somebody suffering of low blood pressure, you can give honey with rosemary powder and 3 spoons a day, and so on. You can mix it with dry leaves. You can try as well to mix it with the fresh leaf, let's say sometimes with flowers, but then the duration will be maybe 3 days. Not like with the dry powder, you can use it at least for 2 weeks. But after 3 weeks, expiry day is here. So don't use it longer than 3 weeks. With fresh material, 2-3 days. With dried material, 2-3 weeks. It's a very interesting way to apply and try out, experiment a little bit with you. Please use only dry powder, herbal powder, which you know they can be used as a medicine and which are not toxic. Be careful to do this experiment with roots. Now, let us have a look to oxymel. Oxymel is a type of extraction from the herbs made by honey and vinegar. I take 1 cup of vinegar and 2 cups of honey. I mix it together to a solution. And in this solution, I put my dry herbs. 1/3 of that big cup with the solution of honey and vinegar, 1/3 of it shall be the dry powder. Let's say lengana powder, rosemary powder, or moroboi hip powder. I stir it nicely, and then we leave it there in that jar. Every day we shake it for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, we are filtering nicely this extraction, this liquid, and then you're ready. You have something like a syrup. If you go on after these 2 weeks, and probably in summer already after a few days of these 2 weeks, maybe 16 days, you can see that liquid starts to ferment, like when you produce alcohol. There we enter in another stage of oxymel production, which we are not talking about now. So we stop it before it starts to ferment. It's very important that the jar is so clean. It shall be really clean, otherwise probably the fermentation can be distorted. So again, 1/3 is vinegar, 2/3 is honey. We mix it nicely up. We add the powder. After 2 weeks, we do the filtration process. Now we have this oxymel liquid. It's like a syrup. You can give it easily to children because it's tasty. It's not so sharp. And again, maybe you take 1 teaspoon of this oxymel, you put it into a cup and you add water. You mix it nicely and the child will drink it. So it's a cup of water with 1 teaspoon of this oxymel. And so you can do the dosage, 2-3 cups of this water a day. Keep it in the fresh, if you have a fridge or somewhere in the shadow. And after 2 weeks, you can produce it again. So it's oxymel application, easy to produce. It is conserved by the vinegar and by the honey. Both are very helpful to the body. It is diluted with water, so you can do a good dosage, and you can evaluate the effect regarding the amount you have given. So you can add maybe more teaspoons a day if you see the reaction isn't strong enough. Let's give you a recipe with moroboi. Moroboi is a wonderful medicine. It's full of vitamins A, B, C, E, and K. It is just to add as a supplement for the nourishment, but this is well a medicine for rheumatic inflammations and so on. So we harvest moroboi, we chop up the little piece of the branch up there, so you have only the berry. You dry it nicely, and having chopped it, dried it nicely, you put a handful of these moroboi pieces into the jar. You add 1/3 and 2/3 of honey, and then you leave it there for 2 weeks, and then you mix it nicely. Then you have moroboi oxymel. And this is a wonderful, wonderful liquid for improving maybe during malnourishment, and it helps to prepare for winter. Try and experiment.